Good morning, everyone. I just finished breakfast with my family. We had sheet pan pancakes, underratedly delicious. And this is IGN. IGN, the media site that talks a lot about video games, movies, and things like that. And that's Flesh and Blood on IGN, which is kind of a big deal. And when you click it, it gets better because this video is amazing, and I'm literally going to make you watch it right now. If you haven't already, you should.
Is faint in these dark hours.
His voiceover's so good.
Dusk, our enemy will seek to extinguish it. It is up to us to preserve that which we hold dear, to defend
That's good
the innocent,
movement.
and a future in which all can live free.
Hey, I did that.
This defining moment for Wraith, it will go down that is the horizon.
One of these,
dark,
there's an effect
monsters
coming up here that's like really
we
well done.
stared at the eyes and teeth in that black abyss and did not flinch.
This one right here. Here it comes.
Fear is bred in the shadow. Bravery.
It's right after this.
Spawn of the light.
Oh, it's so cool. That sword move. Oh, it's so good.
It was us who saw through the night. With those vile
That sword move. That is new art. We don't know what that is, but that's new art. It looks like a brute card.
With a chorus of iron song and an anthem of spring, we called down the lightning and the northern winds.
Oh my god, this is so cool.
Lure to induce them into a big right hand and won the fight for the dawn, the fight for our land.
Oh, that's good movement of the realms, the different locations.
We fall. United, we stand.
Oh, on that card. Okay, so, hey, there are spoilers today. We're going to talk about some spoilers. Yep, June 30th, huh? That's coming up soon. I don't know anything about what spoiler season's going to look like, if even it's going to be like a normal spoiler season, or if they're just going to kind of do a cinematic spoiler season all to themselves, if LSS is going to handle it. I haven't heard anything about spoiler season, but I want to talk about the card you just saw along with these three cards because there's a lot to talk about. First of all, it cannot be understated how cool it is to see this game featured on IGN. That's a big deal. That is not a small thing because if you're on the homepage of a major media website next to things like the Secret Invasion episodes 1 and 2 review, along with like the Xbox showcase, like, I mean, this is kind of a big deal, right? Can we all agree on that? At least I'm gonna agree on it. Let me know in a comment below if you disagree, but I think that is quite cool. I think that's really, really cool. Now, there's a lot that goes on with this announcement as well. I'm not going to sit here and read the entire thing, but I do want to point out a couple of things within this article that I think are really cool. First of all, it talks about these bannerets, which are these cards that we're going to talk about down here, as buy-a-box promos. So LGSs are going to have these buy-a-box promos, and if you buy a box, obviously you get it. They haven't done that since... Wait, what was the last set that did buy a box? Was it Monarch, the last set that did buy a box promos? What was the buy a box? No, it must have been... I don't remember. Maybe it was all the way back in Arcane Rising. I don't think there was one for Crucible of War. I don't recall. But these are full art versions of these three cards, and we'll talk about the three cards here in a second, which is really cool. But this is also cool. They talk about three cards, these three bannerets being revealed, but the remaining three banneret cards can be seen for the first time on the ticketing page, the Calling Birmingham. So if we go here and we go to the Fabled package, is it going to be here? We have three more. So let's talk about these ones first. So Banneret of Protection. Oh, let's do the old screen bounding. Let's get that all there. There we go. Now, you don't need my face. We'll just move myself over for just a minute. All right, there we go. Banneret of Protection is a 1-cost, 4-attack, 3 defense light warrior action. This is an attack that Bolton can play. And it says Soul Flare. When this is charged into your hero's soul, create a Spellbane Aegis token. And that is a token that prevents arcane damage, which is really cool. But this is also just a 1-for-4. It doesn't let you charge, but it charges in, which is cool. And then we have Banneret of Gallantry. 1-cost, 4-attack, 3 defense. You'll see the trend there, of course. This one says when this is charged into your hero's soul, create a Quicken token. This one is quite good. Quite good. Very good. And then Banneret of Courage, because a Quicken token gives your stuff go again. And that is how you continue to go wide, especially in something like a Boltyn, right? Banneret of Courage, 1 for 4. When this is charged into your hero's soul, create a Courage token, and we don't know what that is. And I don't think there's any info as to what it is in this either. You get all 3 of these, by the way, if you go to the Calling Birmingham. And in fact, I will say this, the Calling Birmingham is going to be really cool. They're like setting that up to be really like a really big deal. And this is, by the way, put on by Living Realms. I don't know if you can see it there, way at the top. But the Calling Birmingham is going to be a really big deal, and so you should definitely check out if it's in your region. If you can make it, if you can go, I would recommend doing so, because they've got some really crazy stuff. And look at that playmat. That's got to be one of the angels that has finally kind of been awakened, if you will. But yes, you can get those 3 at Calling Birmingham. You can get these 3 as buy a box promos. So let's take a look at these 3. Banneret of Salvation is a 0 for 3. Soul Flare, when this is charged into your hero's soul, the next time you hit this turn, gain a life. That's pretty solid. And this is about on rate 0 for 3 wise that we've seen. We can expect these. I would guess that all of these bannerets are going to be rares, and they're going to be their own cycle, if you will. And so this is a 0 for 3 because the next one is a 0 for 3 Banneret of Vigor. When this is charged into your hero's soul, the next time you hit this turn, gain 1, which is pretty solid as well. You have to be pushing those breakpoints, and a little tricky with Boltyn sometimes, but not terribly when you can buff it up if you've charged. We'll talk about you in a moment. Where'd the other Banneret go? Did I skip one? Oh, here we go. Banneret of Resilience. When this is charged to your hero's soul, the next action card you defend with this turn gets +1 defense, and that is pretty cool. But this begs the question. In order to trigger this effect, you have to put this into your soul on your opponent's turn, right? I mean, by the definition of the way this is read. So what can we assume on this 0 for 3 Banneret of Resilience? That with this card, we can now assume that there's going to be a way for Boltyn to charge on his opponent's turn. And in doing so, if we do this, if we charge this card on our opponent's turn, we gain the benefit of all of our stuff getting +1, basically giving us the ability to play more defensively if we can charge this on our opponent's turn. That is a really cool effect for Boltyn, and Boltyn sorely needs stuff like that. By the way, I just want to point this out. Dusk Till Dawn is the 10th set released, and they are celebrating, this milestone that few card games do. And this is a quote, a fantastic quote from James White. Dusk Till Dawn being the 10th fab set alongside a rapidly growing player base whose majoritively voice strong belief that the game is getting better over time is a strong indication that our long-term vision has set Fab up to stand the test of time. And this is the big part. The reality of TCG industry is that it has a 98% failure rate. I don't know if that number is 100% accurate. I haven't done the numbers, but I'm going to trust James here. And even if that's off by some bit, I mean, look at anecdotally, look at the way TCGs will come out, and they will last for a few sets, and then unfortunately they fold for one reason or another, right? Many games that start out full of potential and hype are dead on death's door or showing signs of fatal game system failure by the 4th or 5th set. And that's not where we're at with Legend Story Studios' Flesh and Blood. We are certainly not there, and I think this is fun. United We Stand showcases all the iconic heroes who have come together to defend the city of Solana in her greatest time of greatest need, I should say. And this is the crazy part. Because right before they did this, if you go to their website, they dropped this whole lore recap. That whole thing? No, you can still read it. Yeah, yes. The whole lore recap on their website is something. Actually, today's video was going to be this, and so now Monday's video is going to be the lore recap because this is so good. I'm going to talk you through everything that on Monday, everything that happened leading up to this exact moment where all of these heroes come together to face down the demons of the Demonastery. And, well, I don't know if they're on the right side, but they're definitely on a cool-looking side, because look at this card. United We Stand, a 3-cost light action attack. It attacks for 6, it defends for 2, it has Unity. When this defends together with a card from hand, so if you 2-card block something, if Bolton is in your party, create a Courage token under his control. And we don't know what that is still. Then repeat for Bravo. If Bravo's on your party, he gets a Seismic Surge. If Briar's on your party, she gets an Embodiment of Earth. If Dorinthia is in your party, she gets a Courage token, like Bolton. Lexi gets an Embodiment of Lightning. Oldham gets a Spellbane Aegis, which is just kind of funny to me. And Prism gets a Spectral Shield, and Shiana gets an Eloquence token. That one makes me so happy. By the way, all of those heroes represented in this art. We've got Lexi over here. I know it's kind of hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in. I don't know if this... Well, no, the website doesn't support zooming in, unfortunately. You got Lexi, you've got Prism with the wings, you've got Oldham with the giant Winter's Whale hammer, Dorinthia's calling the shots. Shiana's tucked back here, a little hard to see. You've got Briar there, you've got big ol' Bravo, star of the show with the crippling crush punch, and then unfortunately Bolton's got the hand kind of covered up there. My kid's in the background. He's really excited for this set as well. Just getting totally covered up, which is absolutely hilarious. This card is talking about a party. This card is PVE, another huge support piece for PVE, and I think this can tell us what we're going to be facing, what types of scenarios you could be looking at, because if you are grouped up with this, we could maybe be playing through something like the scenario from Dusk Till Dawn, and having these heroes grouped together makes total sense for that scenario, so it might be something that you pick up. But this is some crazy stuff. Also, look at this art. Like, I love this. This is incredible. This looks so good. Someone on Twitter said this is the best art that has ever been produced for Flesh and Blood, and it's hard to disagree with that. It's just hard to disagree. And this is the part that comes down to the PvE section of the article that is really exciting. United We Stand as a sneak peek at PvE, the highly anticipated social play format in Flesh and Blood. TCGs are typically premised on confrontation. Of course, someone wins, someone, like everybody else loses. But with PvE, everybody wins. Shared social dynamic changes from confrontation to cooperation. I mean, this is all exactly what you would expect, and this is fun. It's much more akin to an RPG experience that is so complementary to the holistic Flesh and Blood design, and it is. The design of the game is so well catered towards anyone that plays D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, RPGs of any sort, right? If you've played an RPG with friends, a cooperative RPG, you can look at these characters and go, oh crap, I want to play as that. I want to play as that. I want to do that. That looks amazing. And then you can take that character with their character card, with their hero card, right? You can take all of their equipment, you can take their weapon, and then you can join together at a table and basically play Dungeons and Dragons just with cards instead of with, voice or tabletop miniatures. And that is the game mode that will explode. I said it at the very beginning of this year, and unlike the first video I released, that game mode will explode the game alongside of like Ultimate Pit Fight style thing. It will therefore build on RPG mechanics already in the game. One of the most fun and unique things about Fab is you get to equip your hero with all kinds of different weapons. Yeah, exactly. It's very RPG-like to have your own weapons, your own equipment. You can choose your loadout. You can choose the cards in your deck. You can tailor to your team, to your party, which is really cool. And I think if you execute this correctly, LSS, this game will explode end over end. Like, it's so interesting to think about how Flesh and Blood in some ways echoes like the creation of Magic the Gathering and the growth in some issues or things like that. There's a lot of like history that this game and Magic the Gathering can share in some ways, right? And I think of like Ultimate Pit Fight to Commander might not be the right comparison, because Commander kind of, from what I know, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, Commander grew out of sort of a grassroots movement of judges playing after tournaments and like the actual just gameplay from a fan perspective, right? And then it grew into this grassroots movement that has just kind of overtaken the game design space almost in Magic the Gathering. I think PVE has a real capacity to actually just do that in Flesh and Blood. Perhaps maybe more so than like a Commander-esque UPF. PVE may be Flesh and Blood's Commander. Let me know if you agree with that in the comment below, but it's hard for me not to think that. It's so crazy. Our design philosophy is to keep the game mechanics as simple as possible. Furthermore, we are deliberate in making sets from time to time that can act as great onboarding ramps for new players, like Outsiders, which is mechanically quite a simple set based on simple melee damage interactions. Yeah, I agree with that. Look at this art. By the way, this is Banneret of Courage, the big art. This is just so cool. As we move forward, you'll start to see the changes to our card and product design that really support ease of access for new players to pick up and play Fab easily. And that plus this type of a PvE experience, along with like UPF, play with your friends, which they are very insistent on the main website. They're really committed. You could tell they're starting to like put out UPF articles. I know the screen's like a little wonky. They're putting out like casual play spotlights with LGSs. They are very, very committed to allowing new players and casual players to experience what they want in the game, and I think that is going to lead to a lot of big things. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen on June 30th, because I think this set is really poised, at the very least, from what they've been doing with the story and what they've been doing with everything like leading up to this. They are poised to have a breakout set with Dusk Till Dawn. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to make a number climb slightly higher, and then if you become a patron, you will somehow save me from this overbloomed white room. So maybe consider doing that as well. As always, thanks for watching.